Okay, hello and welcome to this video. My name is Fraser Hainsworth and I'm an online English teacher, and I'm the founder of Teachers Exchange, onlineteachers.club, a popular course on Udemy called Online Teachers for Dummies, and I'm the person who runs the large Facebook group of online English teaching jobs and also the online English teaching jobs list. I've been in the ESL and online teaching industry for over 10 years. I've worked for lots of different companies. I've started my own school, and I've done lots of different things within the industry over the last 10 years, from teaching online to selling online courses to English language students, as well as courses for teachers who want to up their game or find better positions or move into freelancing. So this video is going to be targeted at people who are just jumping into online English teaching or thinking about or considering getting involved and want to know how to find a position or what kind of opportunities are out there. Now I'm going to start on a low and later end on a high. Now, unfortunately, the industry is not what it was. The market is quite saturated at the moment. There are not as many positions as there used to be. Oh, sorry, no, there are lots more positions. There are lots of positions, but there's a lot more demand. Sorry, there's a lot more supply than demand. And there's a lot of companies who are fighting to the bottom. So what you get is a market. What you end up with is lots of online English teaching companies that are not offering the best of rate. A lot of teachers who may not be the best quality teachers filling most of the positions because the companies are just going for the lowest prices. And there's lots of teachers who are not really serious at this game and they're just doing it for a bit of extra cash, and $10 to $12 is enough for them. A lot of teachers. So there's enough teachers to fill that gap, which means the price isn't going to go up. 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was different. There were a lot more higher paying online English teaching jobs. These days, not so many. This video is also for current online teachers who are considering finding more work online or want to know where to go these days to try and find half decent positions. So as I mentioned, there's lots of mediocre companies, but I'm super happy with this industry. Been involved for 10 years and I see tons of opportunity all over the place. This is a growing industry, and if you're a very good teacher and you know how to market yourself a little bit, then going down the freelancer route, you can earn a very comfortable income teaching online. I live here in Thailand, where I've lived for almost 10 years now, and I've worked in some schools as well, but the majority of my work has been online English teaching, and I've moved more into the running of platforms now and less active teaching, but I still do a decent amount of active teaching with students every week. A lot of students have been with me for many years, working directly with me, and I enjoy teaching them, and I have the time, so I do it. So today's not going to be about freelancing, but I just put it out there before I get into where to find positions. If you're serious about online English teaching and you want to do this long term, your plan should be eventually to move into freelancing and to move into starting your own school and doing your own things. Having a long-term career just working for companies, it's possible, but you're gonna plateau. Now and again, you might find this high-paying gig here and there, but it's unlikely that you'll have a full schedule for the amount of hours that you want at the rate that you want as someone working for schools. You also won't have the flexibility that you can have with completely working for yourself and working direct with students and parents if you're teaching kids. Let's get into it. What kind of opportunities are out there at the moment? Majority of online English schools are paying teachers anywhere between $10 and $15 an hour. There are basically three types of online schools. The first type are schools schools where you have a calendar, you open up your availability, students book, they organize the students, they give you the hours, they organize everything and they pay you an hourly rate. Then there are other online schools where they give you a fixed schedule, so there's less flexibility. They'll sign you up with a student and they'll want you to teach that student week on week for several weeks instead of Other companies, well, I'll name them. The companies like EF, where you open up your schedule and students book you, or clients, because they work a lot with businesses who kind of buy packages for their workforce. So sometimes it's them booking the classes, but in that case, you can turn your schedule on and off, and you can be really flexible. You can work 2 weeks, have 3 weeks off, work a week, then work 2 days a week for the next 4 weeks, or you can kind of move your schedule however you want. These are what I call kind of flexible online schools. The other time are more fixed schedule schools where they'll give you a fixed rate. There are some schools that will also have you on standby for, say, 20 hours a week and pay you a flat rate. Those are quite rare these days, and the ones that do it pay very low, but they offer a guaranteed income. The other type of online school are things like italki and Outschool. This is kind of halfway between working for a school and freelancing. With companies like italki and Outschool, you create your own classes, you set your own rate, the platform markets you to students, and then you pay the company between, well, it's, I believe, 15% on italki and 30% on Outschool. 30% may seem like a lot, and so does 15%. But if you are running your own, if you're doing this by yourself, you're going to spend 15% of what you earn on advertisements, it's likely. Although it is possible to grow quite big just by word of mouth, like 15%, there's going to be expenses regardless. So 30% is quite, I'd say, a little high for Outschool, but you can earn a lot of money in Outschool, actually. So I class these companies of kind of on the line between working for a company and freelancing, because you're an independent contractor with these companies, and you're setting your own rate. You're just not doing the marketing side of things, which for some teachers, they like it that way and they can earn well on these platforms. The disadvantage of these kind of platforms is you're competing with everybody else. So you have to be able to show that you can offer something really special, and you have to be good at converting, giving students a trial class and then turning them into a paid student. Not boasting, but I'd say 70-80% of students who take a trial class with me end up buying a course. You're like that too. These kind of platforms could be quite good for you. Outschool does group classes, and they recommend that you charge at least $15 per student. I have one one class I do with Outschool still today, and it's with a school in America. It's a special needs school, and the students have high functioning autism and ADHD. And I teach a course on AI once a week, and they have 10 students per class, all paying $18 each. So that's $180 a class, minus 30%, like 120, 130, 140. I don't know. I'm not working out exactly, but it's a very well played class for that reason. So Outschool can be good if you can get lots of students into group classes. So yeah, those are the main types of online schools. You got fixed schedule schools, flexible schedule schools, create a profile schools like italki and Outschool. Those are the three main types. So let's get into finding these positions. Where do you go? What kind of rate should you be looking for? So the fixed schools and all the schools that you don't choose what price you set, you interview and they offer you a price. There's sometimes a little bit of flexibility, but often not much, and generally between $10 and $15 an hour most companies pay, with the majority of them being lower to the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 maybe. Say 13 is about the average. You might be lucky, you might find a good school that pays 20, 25. Above 25, there are very few schools offering that kind of rate. There are some, and I've worked for some before, and they've been things like teaching IELTS examinations and GCSEs, so kind of formal qualifications, preparing students for formal examinations. Yeah, so let's open my browser, and I'll go through a few ways and a few places you should go first when you're looking for an online English teaching position. All right, so here's one place I recommend you go. Just got to refresh it. This is a platform I've created, so I'm a little biased, but we launched onlineenglishteachingjobs.com. You can also find it at onlineteachers.club, which will just redirect you to the same page. We're going to be changing the domains around soon, but those two will work for a while as we're building a new community and group that's going to be launching soon. More info on that later. But basically, this is a huge list of pretty much every company you can imagine. It just goes on for ages. It gives you a little bit of information about each company. And it gives you, some of them have kind of reviews, what students and teachers say about the company. For example, italki, people say it's hard to compete, hard to get approved as a teacher, and they take 15% of your earnings. So, swings and roundabouts. There's a profile button on each one. You click on this, it'll just take you directly to that company's website where you can apply. Here's another. All School is another create a profile type company. Not all the rates of pay are up there because some schools they change, and it can depend on the person applying, but generally you're looking at $20 max for most schools, and majority of them between 10 and 15. Some people might say, that's just not enough for me. I live in London or I live in New York, and I don't blame you. And other people might be on a beach in Mexico, or like me here in Thailand, where I could survive fine on $10 an hour doing a 40-hour week. That would be enough income for me to live comfortably here in Thailand. For others, that's not the case. Some people have families and other commitments. But actually, in Thailand here, I also have a family here, but $10 an hour at a 40-hour week is enough for me to get by, even with a family here. So it depends where you are, what your cost of living is. That's the advantage. If you're single, or even if you're a couple and you want to do this as a way to travel and become a digital nomad, it's a great entry into kind of doing that kind of thing. I know a lot of people who started out online English teaching, friends in Chiang Mai who came over and started doing that, did it for a couple of years, and then moved into other things like affiliate marketing and other ways of making income online. Any kind of remote job is a great kind of opportunity to live in a low income country, to travel the world, live you can travel and work at the same time. Right, so here's the first place you can go for jobs: online englishteachingjobs.com. If you can't remember that, I can't help you. If you go down here, you can have a look. So you got to do your own research. And as I recommend, if you're just getting into this, apply to lots of different companies, accept 3 or 4, or maybe just 2 to start, or 1 to start if you're just getting into it, and then add more later. I always think it's better to juggle different companies. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have all right, I'll do this company on Saturday and Sunday. This company is good for Monday to Friday evenings because it's based in China, and this other company is based in South America. It's great for my daytime hours or whatever. Really, if you're going to do this long term and you want to do it as a full-time income, you need to kind of juggle multiple companies. And always, I am recommending, some people just don't want the freelance, but I always recommend at least having the back of your mind thinking about, freelancing on the side. Try to find, really, when you start freelancing, it only takes 2 or 3, maybe 4 students, especially if you're teaching kids. And the parents start talking with other parents, and within a couple months, you can be up to 10, 15, 20 students just by word of mouth. Just getting those first few students, that can be difficult. Okay, so I'm not going to recommend any specific company. Here's one called Pagoda. This is a South Korean company. If you're not comfortable showing your face, you don't want your camera on while you're teaching, there are companies in Korea that do phone call teaching. Companies buy packages, and sometimes it's just 15-minute lessons, and they have their staff do 2 15-minute calls a day in English, just to kind of keep their English linguistic skills, especially if they're doing telephone sales or something like that. A lot of Korean companies offer this. where you can actually just teach by audio. Some people might prefer this. Latin Higher is one of the probably the largest South American. It's based in Chile. Says here 10 to 10, which is pretty much what they offer. Sometimes less than 10, depending. Like you negotiate when you apply. They don't pay well at all, but they have quite a large amount of hours available at lots of different time zones. So it works for some teachers. I'm not going to go into them all, but you got to go in, you got to do your own research, apply for a ton, do some interviews. If you're just getting into teaching, just working for one is great, just to build up your confidence as an online teacher and to get experience teaching. So don't worry if you're just getting into it and you're like, oh, I don't want to accept $8, but you've never taught before, or you've not really taught online. Do it for a month, get that experience teaching, and then while you're teaching on the side, looking for other companies to work for. That's why I say do the juggle. Like if you're working for one that pays 8, and then while you're working there, you start working for another that pays 15, and they start offering you way more hours than the other guy, you can start prioritizing that one, or even end up cutting out the lower paid one. So this, I wouldn't wait around for the perfect company that's paying the perfect rate and not start until then. Jump in, try a company, do some hours, get paid a little bit of money, and build up from there. So here we are, lots of different online schools here. If you like this list and you have your own blog and you want to include this list in your blog, do go down the bottom, and here's the embed code. Just paste this onto your own blog and you can have that list there. It's a community list. It's only recently been launched, so there's not that many votes these days, but you can vote up companies that you like, vote down companies that you don't like. And it's set so only one person, you can only do one vote per company per IP address. And it has a way of tracking if you're trying to use VPNs, but like nobody's going to use 100 VPNs just to pump up a company. Anyway, so it isn't perfectly secure, but it gives a good gauge of which companies are popular and which ones are hated. Here's another one, Cambly. Cambly is not a create a profile company, but it kind of is. Cambly is probably the most flexible online school with hours throughout the whole day. They only pay around $10 an hour, which it's actually lower than that, because you're only paid per minute. And sometimes you'll teach like a 20-minute class, a 10-minute break, a 15-minute class, a 5-minute break. So if you average it out over the hour, it's probably only $8 or $9 an hour, or even less, depending on how many classes you can get. But if you're a good teacher and you're popular, you can easily get a full schedule on Cambly. But Cambly is very selective, even though they don't pay very well. It can be hard to get into that school. They have 2 platforms, one for kids and one for adults. All right, I don't want this video to be too long. I'm going to show you a few other places you can head to look for an online English teaching position. Here's some place that most people don't think about. This is called Dave's ESL Cafe. If you're an English teacher who's done the ESL thing abroad, you probably know about this company, especially if you worked in China or Korea. This is kind of like the OG board for teaching jobs abroad, especially for China and Korea. So if you want to work in China and Korea in an actual school, this is probably a good website to go to. But if you just search online in the international job board, there's often tons and tons of online English teaching jobs here too. And the good thing about this is, it's recent. Like this job board is useful, but this just gives you a record of all the schools. It doesn't tell you if they're on a recruiting drive right now, or if they're not, or if they've even closed down. We try and keep it updated. For example, Like Shoe closed down, so we added that in here, so you know that it's no longer open, but we keep it there just to have a record. So this can be a good place to find work, and sometimes you can find really niche and small companies here that pay more money, because sometimes smaller companies advertise here. They're not sure where to advertise. So yeah, as you can see, these are all online teaching jobs. Star is a big Chinese company. they pay close to the 14. They say 14 to 20, but I don't know anyone on the 20. Direct Global is a Korean company, so I've been doing this so long, I know most of the schools. This is a Korean company that does mainly audio calls, but they do some what's your name? Some video calls too. I was gonna work for them years ago, but then the hours they weren't good for Thailand because it was like morning in Korea, which was like 4 a.m. here or something. I thought about it, but not 4 a.m. I'm not a morning person. It's actually 1 a.m. that I'm filming this video now. I don't know. I'm an evening guy. I teach classes in the evening, and then I do my business stuff, updating my website and all blogs and all that kind of thing, into the night, and then I sleep. I wake up at midday. But that's a good thing about working for yourself. Choose your own schedule. I don't know what it is about me. I'm rambling now, but I just feel much more productive at night. The house is quiet. Everybody's my wife and kids are asleep, and I can kind of just get some work done. All right. So this is one good place to find positions. Check it out. And if you're looking for positions in other countries, this is a good place too. There's another one. This is ajan.com. This is mainly specific to positions in Thailand. But again, if you go into jobs and you have a look, online companies start posting. I've been posting here recently too. Let's see if we can find an online one. An easy way is Control F, which is find, and just type in online. All right, so they offer online classes. Here's another one. So yeah, there isn't a lack of jobs or a lack of companies. It's just that there's also a lot of companies, but also a lot of teachers. So the rate stays kind of low. That's why you really have to look into freelancing long term. I do have a new community coming out soon, which will have lots of courses on that, and it's not going to be one of these things like become a teacherpreneur. You just have to pay me $89. It's going to be like $20, $30, and it'll give you access to all my courses. So I do have a lot of courses on Udemy. When I say I have 2 courses on Udemy, but one of them was quite popular. I did online English teaching for dummies in 2022. I'm working on an update now, but that's £15 or like $20. It's on a discount at the moment, and I've had 92 students give reviews, and I think over 300 students take the class. I'm not sure if it says if I go into it, but this kind of just gives you the basics of teaching online, nothing fancy. It doesn't really go into how to. It kind of grazes over freelancing and starting your own school, but it's more for practical ways of finding employment and setting up your setup to be a good teacher, techniques for teaching lessons, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's there if you're interested. And the community that I'll launch soon, it'll be a fixed rate, and we'll have that plus the new course that I'm working on, which is more specific to launching your own online English school. All right. Yeah, so those are the main places to go when looking for jobs. Of course, I almost forgot to mention, I have a Facebook group. It's called Online English Teaching Jobs. You should find it. It's the one that says active. It's because I had some other groups, but my old Facebook was taken down. No idea why. I think it's a mistake by Facebook. They said I've been taken down for human exploitation. Obviously, I don't know. You might think I do human exploitation, but I haven't done any of that kind of. I don't even know what that means. But I'm quite politically outspoken on the platform, so I'm guessing that's the reason. But my whole account was wiped, so I got a new account now, and I lost those older groups. I think they were shut down because there's no admin now. But anyway, this is the main group, 142,000 members at the moment. And this gets new jobs posted every day. NovaKid is hiring. Let's find another one. She needs reading teachers. Someone in China. Now, this looks like it might be a good opportunity. Sometimes it's better to work for kind of just more independent people with small language schools and things like that than mega schools like NovaKid. Is like when you work for these mega schools, you're a number. Don't expect some kind of personal rapport with the company. It's very unlikely, and there is that cultural difference that not everyone struggles with. Americans tend to really struggle with the cultural difference with dealing with Chinese admins because they have their own way of doing things, which sometimes can seem heartless and less social. Yeah, so that's the downside of these big companies. You're going to be less noticed and less appreciated, but if they offer you lots of hours and it's a fair enough rate, and you get the hours and you get the pay that you want, and you can use that to live wherever you want in the world and work remotely, then enjoy it. It works for some people. So anyway, this is the page here. You can go down here and have a look for new positions. That's another place to go. Link all these into the description of this video. I'm going to end this soon because it's I just realized it's a 28-minute video. It's quite long for YouTube. Okay, so I think that's most of the things. I'll finish off by showing you this interesting page on my website, Teachers Exchange. At the moment, Teachers Exchange/tools. This website's in the process of we're shutting it down, and we're moving everything over to our other platform, Online English Teaching Jobs. Just because it's technical stuff, but we built this website on a really clunky WordPress not profile, what do you call it? Theme with lots of clunky plugins, and it's just really, really slow, which is really bad for Google and SEO. So we're going to be relaunching on Online Teachers Club, and that'll come when we've got all the new courses up or anything in the coming months. But anyway, this will be up for now, and once we move over, you'll just get redirected if you're watching this video later and you're going to this link. So there's some useful things in here: an income calculator, a browser pen for annotating while you're teaching, ESL courseware library. This is our kind of partner business that I started with a couple friends. And this is basically a website that gives you access to pre-made teaching materials. This is for people who kind of teach English online and they want teaching materials, but they don't want to make them themselves. For teachers that freelance, and they can kind of just come in here and go through a course with all the PowerPoints kind of designed, and you have like a feature for awarding your student a star and other things like that built in, and you can just run it right from the browser, as you can see here. And it's got videos embedded, and it's fun activities where students can circle and stuff. But this was set up with a group a while ago. Again, it's going to be updated, and we've got a new version coming soon. But if you're interested in your freelancer, check that out. Let's have a look at one lot. There's a random question generator. I like this tool. This is useful for, as you can see, the website's really slow. If you're in a class with a student and you can't think of what to do, jump in here. And if you're doing kids, random questions. Just conversation starters. Get your students answering questions, and then you can use the mouse, the annotation tool, make some notes with about their answers. For example, I like a football. You can explain why they shouldn't use the article in this sentence. All right, for example. All right, and also questions that are island specific. You can click on this one. Business specific questions here too. This again, we're gonna upgrade soon, as I mentioned, but it's there for now. I'll leave you on this. Here's an income calculator. If you're kind of trying to work out which company to work for and how much you can make, really, really simple calculator. You put in the rate that the company pays. You put in the hours that you want to work per week. 33 is a lot for online teaching. 20 is a nice amount, a comfortable amount. If they charge a commission, you can type that in first. For companies like, for example, Italki is 15%. I usually charge around $30 an hour in Italki, and that would make me $2,185 a month if that's what I was doing full time on Italki. Again, you can see if you work for a company that only pays $14 an hour, but you do 35 hours, which is doable, and they charge no percent because You're working for a company, not a profile that's marketing you. Okay, maybe I have to put a 0 here. See, I need to fix this. There we go. All right, so you can see you can earn $2,100, which is enough to live in lots of different places all around the world. You can live in Thailand for that. You can live in Mexico. You can live in the Philippines. You can live in Brazil. You can live all over South America. Even some European countries, you can kind of get away with that. You struggle in places like England, some cities in America, Japan, London, but you know, you can base yourself in a low income country and go to Japan on holidays and stuff, which is what I do here in Thailand. But anyway, we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it valuable. And yeah, if you want to kind of keep in touch with what I'm doing, please subscribe to this channel and check out my website, Teachers Exchange, and onlineenglishteachingjobs.com. And come get involved in the Facebook group, ask your questions, and yada yada. I'm going to be doing more live videos in the future. We're going to be doing it's me. I'm going to be doing hopefully a live a week. I was going to do a live a day, but now I think it's better to do kind of pre-record videos like this and then just do a live every now and again. Because I can snip up this video and remove the ums and the arms and the parts when I ramble. All right. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Take it easy, everybody. Happy teaching.